Hey folks, Phil Gallagher of ThrabenU here for the last day of daily D&T this week. If you enjoy the series, please consider supporting it. We are potentially playing a mirror here. It will be a 75 card mirror match. Not counting planes versus no covered planes. Great. Great way to start a mirror. I cannot throw back Vile Planes or Caracas. Just unquestionably, I cannot do that. I think I'll cede to an early mom here. And hope that one of these two cards can carry the game on their own. But we're pretty far behind here. Our opponent also has like a good 7-card hand when I'm behind on board to start with. Yeah, alright, we lost game 1. That's okay. Great. Alright, so now like we'll see if my opponent starts trying to establish Jitte supremacy right now, or whether they're gonna wait for when it's safer. They wait for when it's safer, I can revoke it. Yeah. This is what I would have done too. Just trade your mom aggressively and keep one Jitte counter around. Pretty difficult to lose from there. Yup. Alright. Cool, cool, cool. Yep. So we shut off the Jitte in the short term, but my opponent still has like Mother of Runes plus Vile on 3, presumably. So like I'm so far behind. And now I don't get to cast my spells either. Drawing another Caracas here was devastating. Alright, opponent didn't have Flicker Wisp, so that's nice. Put this on 1. Stop Source of Plowshares on Revoker from wrecking me in the short term. We do seem to be getting incredibly lucky here in that, like, I'm not immediately dying. I'm still long-term dying. put this in play and like at least threaten it. Cool. Beautifully awkward. Technically not do that at that time, but I think it's fine. I also like really can't attack in with these creatures because like one of these getting ambushed by say a Mirroring Crusader is just devastating. So really I'm just looking to get to 3 main phase mana so that I can play Sword of Fire and Ice, and I'll be more comfortable attacking with a creature once Sword of Fire and Ice is on it. Not 100% safe, obviously, but like better. Opponent seems to be flooding out, which is great. Alright, there's a creature that I will attack with. I think I'm good with that. Alright, opponent has their own Crusader. Yep. Opponent's still very much in the driver's seat here. My own Rishadan port is interesting. I think I'm good with making this attack. There are things that can go wrong. But it kind of just feels like my opponent just like blocks and protects and calls that good. And I just like want to know if they're going to do that. And I think it's more important to free up my own mana by porting their port than it is to play a Thalia. That's actually a pretty annoying combination of cards. It makes my sword more expensive. Yep. And it's just like a bounceable threat. Now I can't play this sword. Guess I can bounce their Thalia during their turn and then try to play. Oh no, it's. Alright. And now I'm forced to hold back. This game is going to just slip away. I like have to awkwardly bounce this Thalia during combat because they attack with it, and then they can just like replay it second main phase. But I just like can't take the damage. Yeah, that should pretty much do it. I'm just getting ported twice here. And then, like, I'm just losing to a 2-2. So now my opponent just, like, can protect this, get in for damage. Still have a mom backup. I take 4 this turn. I mean, if you have a Wisp here, I'm just literally dead. Wisp out. Revoker. Yep. I can't protect against it. You put the sword on Crusader, you give the Crusader protection from white. Yeah, I am dead to that. I'm just going to concede here. It's frustrating. Like, we started down 2 cards, like, with 2 more cards, like, maybe we end up getting there. Alright, we'll board Relic Order, Council's Judgment, Disenchant, maybe Path to Exile, depending on what slots look like. We probably don't want Thalias, we probably don't want Sanctum Prelate. Most of the rest of the stuff here looks pretty good. And I probably don't want to board down any of these creatures, not even Mirran Crusader, so we'll just play 1 Path to Exile to fill out slots. Damn it. Like, this is a game I'm just going to lose to not having white mana, but I'm on the play with an Aether Vial start. So I probably have to keep this. But if my opponent is also on an Aether Vial start, it's just, like, catastrophic for me. Or if they disenchant or revoke my Vial, I also just lose. Great. Now my entire hand of Mana Denial does nothing. Am I just like throwing Charming Prince out to aggressively scry? No, I probably need to still constrain my opponent's mana and take advantage of the fact that I'm on the play. But I need to hit something very good in the next 1 to 2 draws, or I think I just lose. Alright, my mom lived, that's great. I kind of just want to scry here, if I'm being totally honest. Opponent correctly responds there, thinking that I have Phyrexian Revoker. Is not the case. Batterskull is going to the bottom. Mirran Crusader is also probably going to the bottom. That's not really what I'm looking for. It gets a live draw, but it's not a good draw. And we'd rather draw something like a Stone Forge or, you know, Basic Plains. Basic Plains is good too, I guess. Yep. Sound was real good if opponent didn't have Bile. But, like, now I assume our opponent is effectively just leagues ahead of us. Yeah, alright, we're dead. Like, I have no gas in hand. My best card was just answered. We're not immediately dead, but, like, now my opponent has the mana advantage. Well, the virtual mana advantage, and I have nothing. That helps a lot. That helps a whole lot. But if opponent puts in a valuable 2-drop here, still leagues behind. I think it's the Vial still. We can double port them off of resources. This just means they have another card they can play. The Palace Jailer here is brutal. Just Palace Jailer on my Mother of Runes and I lose the game. Yep. Cool. Saw it coming, but there wasn't much I can do about it. Yep. Now I am in an awful position. I need to draw like a Flicker Wisp. Get there in the air. File is real rough for me if my opponent gets one. Yep. Alright, I don't have much time before I'm just completely buried. Damn it. Like, continuing to wasteland my opponent in the face of, like, Palace Jailer is awful. My opponent is a good player, but, like, so little of what I have done has actually impacted the game because of my mulligans. Like, I mulliganed to 5 in game 1 and couldn't do anything. And then this time I started with a land heavy hand that I really had to keep and then flooded out from there. So, like, I didn't have real decisions to make. Yeah. That's really frustrating. So now I am dead in 4 turns. My opponent has 2 layers of protection and is drawing an extra card every turn and has the Vial advantage. I'm done. I can't win this game from here. And that sucks. So we get 50 pity points. Yeah, so still pretty down on Death and Taxes deck does not feel great. We managed to win a couple of interesting games, but as a whole, like this deck isn't getting to the point anymore where the end game of like Recruiter and Flicker Wisp ends up mattering in most games because most games are decided by other powerful haymakers before I have time to set up. Like Oko and Arcanist and Plague Engineer, or as we saw, Knight of Souls Betrayal instead. Like there's so many powerful cards floating around in the format that are just like invalidating too much of what this deck does. So the end game that has like always been a huge part of this deck just like doesn't get to come online anymore unless one person literally is not doing anything. And then like you get to do your thing and it's all like fun and good. But I just don't think this deck is competitive anymore, at least as it is now. Like, obviously, you can win games with it, but it doesn't feel like anywhere close to one of the better things that you can be doing in the format. And, like, pretty much every iteration of the deck that I've tried for the last month has kind of been this way. Like, the mana acceleration ones, the mono white non Eldrazi mana acceleration ones seem to be the best of the things that I've tried out, but, like, all in all, this general strategy of like Thalia plus mana denial, I don't think is getting there anymore. I don't feel like the Stoneforge Mystic package is like particularly potent enough when like Okos are floating around to just like completely invalidate the equipment package in game one. It's just not a great place to be, and I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I still feel that way. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed regardless. Have a great rest of the day.